Imagine yourself as an unshakable fortress, standing tall against relentless storms. The winds howl, the earth quakes, and the skies darken, yet you remain firm, unmoved. This is the essence of emotional mastery. It's not about suppressing your feelings, but transforming them into a source of inner strength. To achieve this level of control, you must first realize a profound truth. No one can truly control your emotions, unless you allow it. Greetings, wisdom seekers. Today, we embark on a journey into the art of emotional sovereignty, a timeless pursuit of thinkers, warriors, and philosophers throughout history. The Stoics, who mastered this philosophy, believed that emotional control was the ultimate freedom. Seneca once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." In this video, we will uncover 10 transformative habits that will arm you against manipulation and fortify your emotional resilience. These aren't just habits. They are rituals of power, blueprints for a life where you are the captain of your soul, unshaken by external tides. Let us delve deeply, with wisdom as our compass, into the practices that will empower you to reclaim your emotional freedom. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't yet. Every like, subscribe, helps us continue our mission of sharing knowledge. Ready to unlock more wisdom? Let's get started. Habit 1. The art of deliberate pause. Let us begin by visualizing the human mind as a battlefield. On one side stand your emotions, charged and ready to overwhelm. On the other, your reason, quiet but powerful, seeking to hold the line. When provoked, the immediate instinct is to let emotions storm the field. The deliberate pause, however, is the weapon that tips the scales of power in your favor. The ancient Stoics revered this concept. Epictetus, one of the greatest teachers of Stoicism, believed that no event holds intrinsic power over us. Instead, it is our interpretation that determines our reaction. To pause is to seize control of this interpretation. Imagine someone cuts you off in traffic. Your pulse quickens, irritation flares. In this moment, the habit of deliberate pause can transform the situation. Take a breath. Allow the emotion to surge and recede. Then ask yourself, is this worth my peace? The beauty of the deliberate pause lies in its simplicity. Yet, this simplicity masks its profound depth. Each pause is an opportunity to examine the stories you tell yourself. If someone criticizes you, what story arises? That you are unworthy? That their words define you? By pausing, you challenge these assumptions. You create a moment of reflection that turns the heat of emotion into the coolness of reason. Building this habit requires intention. Begin with micro-pauses in low-stakes situations. When your coffee spills or your phone freezes, resist the urge to react. Breathe in deeply and exhale slowly. This is not mere relaxation, but a deliberate act of reclaiming your mind. Over time, you'll expand this skill to greater challenges, conflicts with loved ones, professional setbacks, or provocations from others. Neuroscience supports this practice. The brain's amygdala, responsible for emotional reactions, can be tempered by the prefrontal cortex through intentional pauses. Each time you pause, you strengthen this neural pathway. This isn't just self-help rhetoric, it's biology. Seneca once wrote, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." To delay, to pause, is not weakness but wisdom. Each time you practice this habit, you reinforce the idea that your emotions serve you, not the other way around. This pause is your fortress wall, protecting you from the chaos outside and granting you the clarity to act deliberately. Habit 2. Cultivating emotional detachment. What would it feel like to experience anger, sadness, or frustration without being consumed by it? This is the essence of emotional detachment, not the absence of feeling, but the ability to observe your emotions with clarity. Cultivating this habit is like learning to see your mind from the outside, like a bird soaring above a forest, unentangled by the undergrowth below. The Stoics believed in a concept they called apatheia, often misunderstood as apathy. But apatheia is not indifference, it is mastery. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, practiced this skill daily, reminding himself that emotions are fleeting and external events have no true power over the soul. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." How do you cultivate emotional detachment in a world that seems intent on pulling you into its dramas? Start by recognizing that your emotions, while valid, are temporary visitors, not permanent residents. They arise, linger, and fade like waves on the shore. To detach, practice labeling your emotions as they occur. When anger flares, say to yourself, "This is anger." When sadness washes over you, observe, "This is sadness." Why is labeling so powerful? Because it creates space between you and the feeling. It reminds you that you are not your anger or your sadness. You are the observer of these states. This practice aligns with modern psychology, which calls this process affect labeling. Studies show that naming emotions reduces their intensity, allowing the rational mind to regain control. Next, examine the story behind the emotion. Suppose someone criticizes you publicly. Your initial response might be shame or defensiveness. But ask yourself, why do I feel this way? Do their words define me, or is this a reflection of their perspective? Often you'll find that the emotion arises not from the event itself, but from the meaning you've attached to it. By detaching from this meaning, you regain control. This habit extends beyond conflict. It applies to desire, fear, and even joy. To detach is not to reject pleasure or avoid pain, but to view both with equanimity. The Stoics compared life's highs and lows to the turning of seasons, natural and inevitable. By accepting this rhythm without clinging or resisting, you free yourself from the emotional turbulence that others might exploit. Through detachment, you become like water, adaptable, flowing, yet unbreakable. Others may stir the surface, but your depths remain calm. This habit grants you the serenity to navigate life's storms without losing yourself in the chaos. Habit 3. Embracing the power of choice. What would your life look like if you truly believed that every emotional reaction is a choice? Habit 3 is the practice of embracing the power of choice, a transformative realization that shifts you from a passive victim of circumstances to an active creator of your emotional reality. This habit is rooted in one of Stoicism's central teachings, the dichotomy of control. Epictetus famously said, "Some things are up to us, and some things are not." External events, other people's words, actions, or opinions, are beyond your control. What lies within your power, however, is how you interpret and respond to these events. Imagine a scenario. A colleague takes credit for your work. The natural reaction might be anger, frustration, or a desire for revenge. But pause and ask yourself, what part of the situation is within my control? You cannot undo their actions, but you can choose your response. Will you let their behavior define your emotional state, or will you rise above it? This habit is not about suppressing emotions, but reframing them. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and renowned psychiatrist, encapsulated this idea when he wrote, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and freedom." Frankl's words remind us that no matter how dire the situation, our inner freedom remains inviolable. Building this habit begins with mindfulness. Train yourself to recognize the space between stimulus and response. When provoked, visualize this space as a vast room where you can pause, breathe, and deliberate. Fill this space with questions. What outcome do I want from this situation? Will my reaction serve or hinder me? Over time, you'll notice a profound shift. Instead of reacting impulsively, you'll begin to act deliberately. A rude comment will no longer ignite anger but spark curiosity. Why did they say that? Does it matter? An unexpected setback will no longer lead to despair but prompt reflection. What can I learn from this? The power of choice extends beyond conflict. It applies to every aspect of life. You choose whether to dwell on past regrets or focus on future possibilities. You choose whether to let fear hold you back or propel you forward. Each choice reinforces your autonomy and diminishes the power of external forces over your emotions. Marcus Aurelius advised, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Let this truth guide you. Embrace the power of choice, and you will discover that no one, not a critic, a rival, or even fate itself, can dictate your emotional state. You alone hold that power. Habit 4. Practicing the discipline of gratitude. Gratitude is more than a fleeting feeling. It is a disciplined practice, a lens through which to view the world, even when it feels chaotic or unjust. Developing the habit of gratitude isn't just about listing things that make you happy. It's about rewiring your perspective to see challenges, provocations, and even failures as opportunities for growth. The Stoics believed deeply in the transformative power of gratitude. Seneca wrote, Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart. But this gratitude isn't reserved for life's obvious blessings. The Stoics advocated for what we might call radical gratitude, being thankful not just for what feels good, but also for what tests you, for hardship as much as for comfort. Consider a moment when someone insulted you, embarrassed you, or intentionally hurt you. At first glance, there seems to be no room for gratitude. But if you shift your mindset, you can find value even in these experiences. Be grateful, for example, that such provocations give you the chance to practice patience or resilience. Gratitude turns every interaction into an opportunity to strengthen your character. To cultivate this habit, begin a daily gratitude ritual. At the end of each day, list 3 things you are grateful for. Make them specific and meaningful. Avoid platitudes like, "I'm grateful for life." Instead, reflect deeply. "I'm grateful for the difficult conversation I had today because it taught me how to listen without defensiveness." This exercise trains your brain to seek positives, even in adversity. Science supports this practice. Studies on gratitude reveal its profound effects on mental health, reducing anxiety and depression while increasing emotional resilience. By focusing on what you have instead of what you lack, you shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. Gratitude also serves as a shield against external attempts to control your emotions. When someone tries to provoke you, gratitude reframes the situation. Instead of reacting with anger, you might think, "I'm grateful for this challenge. It's teaching me how to stay composed under pressure." Gratitude isn't about denying negative emotions. It's about balancing them with a broader perspective. This discipline helps you see that even life's thorns carry lessons. Over time, this habit fosters a profound inner peace. You begin to realize that no external event can shake you because you always have something to be grateful for, something no one can take away. Habit 5. Strengthening inner boundaries. Many people think of boundaries as physical or social, lines we draw with others to protect our time, space, or resources. While these are important, the boundaries that matter most in emotional mastery are internal. Habit 5 is about strengthening these inner boundaries, the mental and emotional limits you set to protect your inner peace. Imagine your mind as a garden. Without boundaries, anyone can trample through it, planting weeds of doubt, anger, or insecurity. Inner boundaries are the fences that guard this garden, ensuring that only what you choose to nurture takes root. The Stoics were masters of this concept. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." To strengthen your inner boundaries, you must first identify where they are weakest. Ask yourself, when do I let others dictate my emotions? Is it through their criticism, their expectations, or their approval? Understanding these triggers is the first step toward building your defenses. Next, practice emotional filtering. Not every comment, opinion, or action deserves entry into your mind. When someone criticizes you, pause and evaluate. Is their opinion rooted in truth, or is it a reflection of their own insecurities? If it's the latter, let it pass through you like wind through a sieve. Strengthening inner boundaries also means learning to say no, not just to others, but to yourself. Say no to the urge to overthink, to replay arguments in your head, or to dwell on perceived slights. These mental habits weaken your boundaries, giving others unearned power over your emotional state. Visualization can be a powerful tool here. Imagine yourself as a fortress, with high walls and a strong gate. You decide what enters and what stays out. When someone attempts to provoke you, picture their words bouncing harmlessly off your walls. This mental exercise reinforces the idea that your emotions are under your control, not theirs. The more you practice, the stronger your boundaries become. You'll notice a shift. Situations that once upset you now seem insignificant. You'll feel less reactive, more composed. This is the power of inner boundaries. They free you from the emotional turbulence of others, allowing you to cultivate a calm and focused mind. Habit 6. The ritual of self-reflection. The 6th habit is one of introspection and honesty, the ritual of self-reflection. To master your emotions, you must first understand them, and self-reflection is the mirror that reveals their true nature. Without it, you are like a ship sailing in darkness, vulnerable to every wave and storm. With it, you become the navigator, charting your course with precision and purpose. The Stoics practiced self-reflection rigorously. Marcus Aurelius, in his meditations, often reviewed his actions, thoughts, and emotions, asking himself whether they aligned with his principles. This nightly ritual allowed him to refine his character and correct his course. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." To adopt this habit, set aside time each day, preferably in the evening, to reflect on your emotions and actions. Ask yourself, what emotions dominated my day? Why did I feel this way? Did I act in alignment with my values? This process is not about self-criticism, but self-awareness. Write down your thoughts. Journaling is a powerful tool for self-reflection because it forces clarity. When you see your emotions on paper, you can analyze them objectively. A pattern may emerge. Perhaps certain situations consistently provoke you, or certain people seem to have undue influence over your mood. These insights are the first step toward change. Self-reflection also requires humility. It's not enough to examine others' roles in your emotions. You must also examine your own. Did you misinterpret a comment? Did you let pride or insecurity cloud your judgment? The willingness to confront these truths is what makes this habit transformative. Over time, self-reflection becomes more than a habit. It becomes a ritual, a sacred time to connect with your inner self. It deepens your understanding of your triggers, your strengths, and your values. It shows you where you've grown and where you still need work. This habit is your internal compass, ensuring that no matter what happens externally, you remain aligned with your inner principles. It is a source of immense power and clarity, helping you navigate life's challenges with wisdom and grace. Through self-reflection, you learn not just to control your emotions, but to understand them. And in understanding them, you reclaim your power. No one can manipulate what you have already mastered within yourself. Habit 7. Mastering the skill of perspective. Shifting perspective is the lens through which we view the world. And often, it is this lens, not the events themselves, that dictates our emotional state. Mastering the habit of perspective shifting allows you to reinterpret challenges, criticisms, and conflicts in a way that empowers rather than weakens you. This is not about delusion or ignoring reality, but about choosing a frame that serves your growth and resilience. The Stoics were pioneers of perspective shifting. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been." This is a profound yet simple idea. Our suffering often comes not from the events themselves, but from how we choose to interpret them. Let's consider an example. Imagine you are overlooked for a promotion at work. The initial perspective might be one of anger or self-doubt, but through perspective shifting, you can ask, what opportunities does this open for me? What can I learn from this experience? Perhaps the rejection is a signal to refine your skills or pursue a path better suited to your strengths. To develop this habit, start by practicing mental reframing. When faced with a setback, consciously seek alternative interpretations. A flat tire on your way to an important meeting might initially feel like a disaster. But what if you reframed it as an unexpected moment of reflection, a chance to practice patience, or even an event that saved you from a larger misfortune? This habit also applies to interpersonal conflicts. When someone criticizes or mistreats you, perspective shifting helps you see beyond their actions. Ask yourself, what might they be going through? Are their actions a reflection of their struggles, rather than a comment on my worth? This shift can transform anger into empathy, freeing you from emotional entanglement. Perspective shifting isn't just a mental trick. It's a disciplined practice of choosing empowerment over victimhood. It reminds you that while you may not control events, you always control how you see them. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. By mastering perspective shifting, you gain the ability to find silver linings in clouds, meaning in adversity, and clarity in chaos. This habit fortifies your emotional state, ensuring that others cannot control you through circumstances alone. Habit 8. The practice of present moment awareness. Emotions often pull us into two dangerous places, the regrets of the past and the anxieties of the future. Habit 8 is the practice of present moment awareness, a discipline that anchors you in the now, where your power truly lies. The Stoics emphasize this habit, urging us to focus on the present moment as the only time we ever truly possess. Marcus Aurelius reflected, "Confine yourself to the present." This advice is not merely philosophical, it is profoundly practical. Emotions often spiral out of control because we lose ourselves in what has been or what might be, forgetting that the present moment is manageable and often free of the burdens we project onto it. Imagine a scenario where someone insults you. The insult itself is momentary, a passing event, but by dwelling on it, replaying their words, or imagining future confrontations, you extend its impact far beyond the present. The practice of present moment awareness allows you to stop this cycle. Focus on your breath, on the sensations of the now. Ask yourself, what is real in this moment? What exists beyond my thoughts? This habit can be cultivated through mindfulness practices. Meditation, for instance, trains your mind to observe thoughts without being carried away by them. Begin with just 5 minutes a day. Sit quietly, focus on your breath, and gently bring your attention back whenever it wanders. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to remain present, even in emotionally charged situations. Present moment awareness also involves a conscious effort to engage fully with your surroundings. When you're having a conversation, listen deeply instead of planning your response. When you're walking, notice the rhythm of your steps, the feel of the ground beneath you. These small acts of presence build the habit of staying grounded in the now. The power of this habit lies in its ability to neutralize emotional manipulation. Others may try to provoke you by reminding you of past failures or threatening future outcomes. But when you are anchored in the present, these tactics lose their grip. You can respond with clarity and calm, free from the weight of imagined burdens. In the present moment, there is freedom. It is the space where you can observe your emotions without being consumed by them, where you can choose your response rather than react impulsively. The practice of present moment awareness is a refuge, a place of peace that no one can invade. Habit 9. Developing the virtue of self-discipline. Self-discipline is the cornerstone of emotional mastery. Without it, you become a slave to your impulses, reacting to external provocations and internal cravings without control. Habit 9 is about cultivating this virtue, not as a tool for suppression, but as a means of liberation. The Stoics regarded self-discipline as one of the highest virtues. Epictetus advised, "No man is free who is not master of himself." To master your emotions, you must first master your actions, your thoughts, and your habits. Self-discipline is the bridge between knowing what is right and consistently doing it. Consider how self-discipline applies to your emotional responses. When someone angers you, the disciplined choice is to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully, rather than lash out. When you feel the pull of envy or jealousy, self-discipline allows you to redirect your focus toward gratitude and self-improvement. Building self-discipline begins with small, consistent actions. Set daily goals that challenge but don't overwhelm you. These might include waking up at the same time every day, committing to a workout routine, or limiting your time on social media. These practices may seem unrelated to emotional mastery, but they strengthen your ability to resist impulses, a skill that translates directly to managing emotions. Self-discipline also involves the courage to face discomfort. Emotions like anger, sadness, or fear often arise because we resist unpleasant truths or seek immediate relief. The disciplined mind confronts these feelings directly, asking, "What is this emotion teaching me? How can I grow from this experience?" By embracing discomfort rather than avoiding it, you build resilience. It's important to distinguish between discipline and rigidity. The goal is not to suppress emotions, but to channel them productively. Anger, for instance, can be a powerful motivator when disciplined, fueling efforts to address injustices or improve oneself. Self-discipline protects you from manipulation. When others try to provoke you, your disciplined mind remains steady, choosing responses that align with your values rather than their agenda. It grants you the strength to hold your ground, even in the face of temptation, provocation, or chaos. As Seneca wrote, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." This is the essence of self-discipline, not a restriction of freedom, but the ultimate expression of it. By mastering this habit, you gain the ability to act deliberately, think clearly, and feel deeply, without being controlled by external forces or fleeting emotions. Habit 10. Embracing the impermanence of all things. The final habit is perhaps the most profound and liberating, embracing the impermanence of all things. Life is a river, constantly flowing with nothing remaining fixed. Relationships evolve, circumstances shift, and even the emotions you feel so intensely today will fade into memory. Recognizing and accepting this truth frees you from the chains of attachment, fear, and emotional volatility. The Stoics often reflected on impermanence as a means to cultivate inner peace. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Observe constantly that all things take place by change, and accustom yourself to consider that the nature of the universe loves nothing so much as to change." This habit isn't about detachment in the cold, indifferent sense, but about appreciating the fleeting beauty of every moment and learning not to cling. Consider how much emotional pain comes from resistance to change. The fear of losing what we have, the longing for what we've lost, and the anxiety about what might come. All these arise from an unwillingness to accept impermanence. When you cultivate this habit, you develop the ability to navigate life's uncertainties with grace. Begin by practicing memento mori, the Stoic meditation on mortality. This practice isn't morbid, it's a reminder of life's preciousness. Reflect on the fact that your time is limited, as is the time of those you love. This awareness sharpens your focus, deepens your appreciation, and softens the sting of life's inevitable changes. Embracing impermanence also requiring go of the illusion of control. We often try to hold on to things, relationships, achievements, or even emotions, thinking they define us. But life is a dance of gain and loss. When you accept this, you find peace in the ebb and flow. You can love deeply without fearing loss, pursue goals without fearing failure, and experience joy without clinging to it. This habit helps you respond to others with greater understanding. When someone lashes out or seeks to manipulate you, recognize that their behavior is often rooted in their own fears of impermanence, their insecurities, their attachments. This perspective fosters compassion and shields you from taking their actions personally. Through this practice, you come to see that nothing external, no criticism, no praise, no setback, no triumph, can truly define you. You are a part of the ever-changing flow of life, and within that flow you find freedom. As Epictetus said, it is not things that disturb us, but our interpretations of their significance. Final thoughts: the path to emotional mastery. As you embrace these 10 habits, cultivating stillness, mastering detachment, seeking wisdom, practicing gratitude, strengthening boundaries, reflecting inward, shifting perspectives, anchoring in the present, honing discipline, and embracing impermanence, you embark on a journey toward emotional mastery. This path is not about suppressing your emotions or becoming unfeeling. It is about reclaiming your power, ensuring that your inner world remains sovereign no matter what storms rage outside. The wisdom of the Stoics, combined with modern understanding, offers a profound framework for this mastery. You become like a tree with deep roots. Though winds may bend its branches, its core remains unshaken. This is not a passive state, but an active practice, a daily commitment to living with clarity, intention, and resilience. Remember, the mastery of emotions is a lifelong journey. You will falter, face challenges, and sometimes lose your way. But each stumble is an opportunity to grow stronger. The Stoics remind us that perfection is not the goal. Progress is. Marcus Aurelius himself, one of history's most disciplined thinkers, acknowledged his struggles and used them as stepping stones toward greater self-awareness. To my fellow wisdom seekers, let us commit to this journey together. The world will always try to provoke, distract, and unbalance you. But with these habits as your foundation, you can stand firm, unshaken by the noise of the world. Your emotions are yours to guide, your inner peace yours to protect, and your life yours to live fully. As we conclude, carry this wisdom into your daily life. Reflect on these habits, practice them with intention, and watch as your ability to remain composed and unshaken grows. Remember, the power lies within you, not in the opinions of others, not in the fleeting circumstances of the world, but in your ability to choose how you respond. And that, dear wisdom seekers, is the ultimate freedom.